Well, the big question is, silver accelerates, but is that going to be a lasting trend? Are we going to get 4 or 5% a day? I doubt it. But, you know, I was really looking for some news on that, why that happened, you know, and you can make a lot of excuses why it happened. It just happened. Because there's a lot of reasons why silver should go up when it goes down, and there's a lot of reasons the other way around, too. You really can't rationalize silver. That's why they call it the devil's metal. But in the case of oil, part of the reason why it went up, at least, well, first off, it did hit a multi-year low when it finally broke 75 just recently, very recently, and now it moved up and had a big charge upward right after it broke the multi-year low. It's because they expect Saudi to start cutting production. And that goes along with what Harold Hamm has bet with liquidating his shorts, you know, on the oil. I was mentioning before, he's the 50th most wealthy person in the world, according to Bloomberg. Self-made, multi-billionaire, you know, he from oil. So if he cuts, you know, if he liquidated all his short positions, that's telling me, you know, hey, 101 right there. If anybody's got, you know, a handle on what's going to be happening, it would be him, right? You know, versus some Wall Street pinhead that's got a computer someplace in the middle of New York City. You know, this guy was around, came from like sharecropper, poor background, and he made his own money only in the oil industry. So if he's making a hard bet that way, that was a good bet. You know, I mean, it's good information. Let me put it that way. I don't know if it's going to be a good bet. Now, the interesting thing is, Soros is going to lose out pretty damn soon the first major part of his short positions on the S&P if this damn thing don't crash very soon. You know, if it don't crash, well, he won't lose out all the way because he made the short position, his major short positions on the S&P. Part of it was, a huge part of it was made in August 2013. He'll lose out on that part. Another part was made in early 2014. Another part was made in August 2014, later. So, I don't know if he's going to win out the whole thing or not, but, you know, the other thing is, they're saying that the low for the middle of the financial crisis is going to be around September 2015. You know, I'm going to go by that, too. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Illuminati plan all this garbage, you know, the Illuminati, quote-unquote. And they do it by, you know, astrology, you know, the 4 blood moons. I think, to tell you the truth, I think a lot of religion is more or less a blueprint of what the powers that be want to happen versus, you know, when it's written down in the Bible. Hey, you know, not that we can't fight them or nothing like that. I'm just telling you that, you know, you got to watch out that a lot of things are a scam. And don't be scammed. So, silver, you know, they don't call this a devil's metal for nothing because you never know what the hell it's going to do. But I'm going to tell you, though, the real thing where it's going to get way the hell up there is tensions in the Middle East. And you notice today, what goes up? Gold, silver, and oil. You know, they can pretty much kind of move together. So if we got major tensions in the Middle East is armed to the teeth, man. Qatar, UAE, everybody's armed to the teeth. If there's a major conflagration that goes on over there, you're going to see oil go up, gold go up, and silver start taking off like a rocket, and it'll get way the hell ahead of itself. But right now, the relationship between the S&P and silver has never been, well, not maybe at the second, but say as of a day or so ago, was more skewed than it's ever been. Pretty much the pendulum is swung as far as it can. The S&P's way the hell up there, silver's way down here. The pendulum's going to swing the other way around. Maybe it's starting to move already. But the thing that's obvious where they're going to really push for the QE is when you see the markets tumble. And they should be tumbling already, but they're not. They're not. But I keep reiterating with George Soros the way he bet. Even even Warren Buffett. He's largely staying more in cash than he should be. Well, maybe not because he should be, because he's aware that there could be, the markets are getting dangerous. They've been saying for a long time they're getting pricey. But it's almost like, you compare that with the housing market. It goes up, it goes up, it goes up. I mean, I remember when they were jacking on $30,000 onto a house inside of a month and doing it again the next month. Was it a bubble? Yeah, sure. But anyway, as far as like, if there's panic in the financial markets, there's going to be panic towards gold and even silver and even oil. Now, what we see coming up too is more and more tensions with Russia. That's obvious. This guy, I don't know if he's playing off a cue card or whatever the hell he is, or he's just a KGB nut. But, it looks pretty obvious that global tensions aren't going away. Now, Palladium didn't do well today. It was like going down a little bit. I think it was the only one that was going down a little bit. But overall, I expect Palladium to do extremely well. Not really so much. Part of it is the fundamentals, because, which goes along with oil, because more and more of these emerging nations are driving cars, and all you got to do is every new car today has got catalyst, so that makes a demand for palladium especially. So, I mean, the technology may go to electric someday, may go to hydrogen someday, but in the next couple of years, the world ain't going to change that fast. No way. No way in hell. Unless, of course, I stumble upon the secret to unlock hydrogen from water real cheap, with frequencies. Now, in that case, it may change really quick. But even then, moving industry to alternative energy is like steering a gigantic aircraft carrier, except even slower than that, man. So it's not going to change that fast. So the deal with palladium, the demand is actually there. But the one thing is, where it's really going to move it up is tensions with Russia. And we got a hell of a lot more tensions going on with Russia. Now, what I find interesting is, I've been saying this for years, man. I used to read Major Anatoly Golitsyn. And I know he says the KGB planned to dissolve the Soviet Union. They planned glasnost, solidarity. Even Lech Walesa was brought in by the Soviet Naval Secret Service or some crap to the protest way back when. He was all in on it crap. It was like, I forgot, it was Zedislaw Ruarez, he's dead now, but he was a former ambassador from Poland and Japan. He used to write about all this stuff, that solidarity was a bunch of orchestrated stuff from the Communist Party. And, it wasn't a popular opinion. And, everybody said, well, yeah, we won the Cold War and all this crap. And the contention of Major Anatoly Golitsyn was that it was going to come back on again after they build up their military, which they're doing already. With they're breaking the START Treaty, the Strategic Arms Treaty, and all that type of stuff. They got about the same amount of nukes as the U.S., but their stuff is probably more new and more technologically advanced. While Obama is actually taking off the MIRVs off the Minimans, the multiple re-entry vehicles off the Minuteman missiles. It's probably planned, man. I don't know. I think it's not planned so much like the Major Anatoly Golitsyn used to see it only from the Russian side, but at the overall side, I think it's just the whole damn thing is planned. More or less. Some people say to call that the grand conspiracy, but in a lot of ways, there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it. But that will, global tensions will send oil way up. It'll send silver way up, gold way up. And the flip side of it is that we're not going to be living in a nice, smooth, world. So, like I said, this channel's not going to just be about silver or the markets. I'm doing a lot more hands-on stuff and passing on a lot more tips about health and staying vigorous and all that type of stuff. And it's not an anti-USA channel, because although I can say I'm definitely not like this flag waver that just automatically obeys the authorities or something like that. I definitely aren't. Damn not. But I want to say this, that when you compare the USA to other countries, man, when you get down deep into all these other countries, they can really screw you over even worse. Even though there's some crap that goes on over here that's screwed up, Other places are a hell of a lot worse, man. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, I wouldn't want to be in Russia, that's for sure. Wouldn't want to be in Iran. If I was in Venezuela, I'd like to be as far away from Caracas as possible. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the deal with this channel, because I'm going to tell you right now that, you know, well, as the situation gets good, looks good and shiny and bright for silver, the world is probably going to be more unsafe. The dollars probably might be going down. The U.S. Treasury notes might be going down. Might not be looking too good for the United States. But, you know, actually what I think is, you know, we got our silver basically to protect ourselves and as citizens of the USA. That's what we got it for. I don't have my silver to kiss Vladimir Putin's butt or to cheer the downfall of the United States or to profit by other people's freaking misery. That's really what I'm coming from. So, the pendulum might be starting to swing now. It may be too early, though. I mean, this could be a whole fake out. I don't even know why exactly silver went up that much. I know why the oil allegedly went up that much. But I really don't know why silver went up that much today. That's a hell of a bounce. But then again, I've been maintaining that the markets are freaking rigged. They have been. You know? This could be, it could be bouncing up, come back down. If it comes up, you know, that's the same game, man. It's going to be an erratic movement. Even if it starts going up, you know, more or less steady, it's going to be an erratic steady, you know, like this, on the way up. That's what's going to happen. So any time I cheer it on, it's going to probably jinx it, so I don't want to cheer it on too much. Definitely not. But the real signal where you're going to see gold and silver going up, first off, is you got to see the markets collapse, because that's going to be the signal for them to stimulate the economy again and do more, you know, QE4. That's where it's going to happen. And where you're going to see it really, really move up is when we have a major conflict in the Middle East. It's just a matter of time. But I'm not going to be cheering on, you know, the other powers on the other side of the world. I'm sticking with the USA. Because despite the garbage that goes on over here, it ain't as screwed up. No way. No way in hell. It's a matter of, you know, we got to fight the garbage that goes on over here, but we got the tools to do it, man. That's all I'm going to say about that deal, right? We actually have the tools to do it. In other words, if you're someplace else, you're pretty much screwed. You really can't fight the powers that be. And if you want to look at some really, you know, I was looking at something recently, the major media, because now they're pushing that Russia is more equal than the United States in wealth. No way in hell, man. It's a fact. 110 oligarchs, this is a fact, 110 oligarchs own 35% of the freaking wealth in Russia. You go about 30, 40 miles outside of Moscow, it ain't like going out 30, 40 miles outside of New Jersey, New York City, where there's like all kinds of cities out there. It looks like you went back to the freaking medieval times, man. People aren't even driving cars that much. They're driving some tractors, you know what I mean? You went back like 500 years. Because, you know, you got, you know, you show this on TV, you know, Moscow, with the big, there's only a few big buildings there. That's all it is. Everything's underground in case when they hit the nuclear button, you know what I mean? So, but I ain't got nothing against the Russian people. What I'm telling you is that corrupt leadership over in Russia has been working with the Western elite bastards the whole time, and Putin is probably playing off a freaking script for all I know. Unless he's just, I don't know what he's doing exactly. I don't know 100%. But just looking back what a Major Anatoly Golitsyn said, how this was all going to play out, that Russia, the Soviet Union, was going to fall apart, then it was going to be our enemy again. It's playing out just like he said. He was saying that stuff back in the 70s. Takes a long time, don't it? Just like with silver. Takes a long... Well, it's not going to take that long. When it goes up, it's going to go up probably too hard, too fast, and George Soros, who's in the gold miners, is probably going to make out like a fat rat, and he's going to be selling you his shares. When everybody's pumping them up, you know, whenever... Because I don't know how high is high. How high is high? Like I said, they can manipulate it up just as much as they can manipulate it down. The moonshot ain't going to be the deal, but we all want to make some money. That's the bottom line. We all want to make some money. So, at least some good news. Maybe this was the turning point today. I don't know. I don't know this for a fact. Either way, I'm hanging loose because I know the turning point is not too far off. And when the markets crash, I definitely feel safe that that's the turning point for silver and gold. When the S&P and the Dow crashes, then I definitely feel safe. That's the turning point for silver and gold. It may be coming up real soon now. Because like I said, George Soros is going to start losing out in some of his major short position here pretty soon.